Hi, my name is Mike Buss. I'm a world record-breaking ultra athlete. I'm here today at Run Swindon with the owner Liam to show the importance of getting the correct shoe fitted for you. So Liam, why would you feel that getting the right shoe fitted for you for each person is so important?
Well, it's vital to get the correct footwear. What we're going to do with Mike today is going to measure his feet. A lot of people wear their shoes way too small. We're also going to look at the arches of his feet to see whether they work as a good shock absorber. Some people have flat feet, high arches, neutral arches, and we're going to have a little look at that as well. We're going to record Mike on the treadmill and we're going to play that back frame by frame and see exactly what happens when he runs. Now, a large percentage of people have a tendency to what's called overpronate, where their feet collapse in, and incorrect footwear just won't stabilise the foot sufficiently, and with that can lead to numerous problems, stressing of the arch of the foot, Achilles, shin pains, very common, knees, and leading literally right the way up to the sort of back of the neck. So correct footwear is absolutely vital, especially as well, obviously in Mike's case, where he does a huge amount of mileage, carrying a lot of obviously sort of weight on his back. So we're going to work on that today. Okay, Mike, right, if you just want to stand up on here, I'm just going to measure your feet first of all. Just get the heels nice and back into the heel cup and the feet nice and square. Okay, right. Just measuring your feet here, we're currently measuring around about a 9 on the right side. The feet can sort of expand during the course of the day. Obviously today is very cold, and early on in the day the feet will probably be at their sort of smallest. And this likewise is measuring pretty much to the 9, just under. Okay, now from a running shoe we always tend to recommend a bit extra room. Last thing you want is your toe being pushed into the end of the shoe. So initially what we're going to do, okay, is just move you up to around about a 9.5, just giving you that extra room in the toe. Okay, it could be anything from half a size to a size up. Alright, just while you're stood on there, Mike, can you just bend the knees forward for me a little bit and just feel the pressure towards the balls of your feet. Okay, and then just rock back between the heels and the forefoot. Okay, and then if you just straighten the legs up and then just step off to the side. This will give us an imprint of the arch. Now the arch of your feet, okay, you're quite cold today, so we're not seeing it, but we do have a lower arch here, okay? There's no sort of curl here to the arch. Now a lower arch can be flexible, it can have a tendency to sort of roll in, and also a poor shock absorber. So finding the shoe with plenty of cushioning and more likely with some good support is going to help you. All right. Okay, Mike, what we've got here, first of all, we're going to test you in running terms. This is classed as a neutral running shoe, and a neutral shoe is basically a non-supportive shoe. It's got a very flexible midsole, doesn't offer a huge amount of support, and we'll use a shoe like this to test you in so we can see what's happening with your feet. Alright, okay. So if you pop them on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Mike into a steady jog between about 8 and 12 kilometres an hour. And then we're going to video record Mike and then see what happens when he runs by playing it back frame by frame. Okay. Right, cool. Just going to take this into a gentle jog now. Right, I'll just start you off around about 8 kilometres an hour. You okay to move up a fraction, Mike?
Yep.
Just take you up just a little bit. So I'm just going to let Mike just get settled and a little bit more natural on the treadmill, so just nice and comfortable. Okay, so we are using a motion-based software here called Tempo Lite by Mile Systems. It's a fantastic piece of software which enables us to sort of video record somebody running and to play it back frame by frame. So just assessing Mike initially, striking to the sort of centre to outside of the heel. About 80% of customers coming in tend to strike to this area. I'm going to play this back frame by frame. Now as we just drop this back into mid-stance here, okay, the first thing that we're noticing is the heel's lifting on the shoe, and it starts to slope down behind the Achilles, and we get this noticeable curvature around the ankle. Okay, so the foot, as when we viewed Mike in a standing position, is obviously sort of reacting very similar. We get this noticeable sort of collapsing and rolling in to the point where the foot starts to push off towards the ball of the foot, as opposed to nice and square off the big and second toe. And obviously this can lead to sort of numerous problems. Just showing you here, just give you an idea, if we just come up through the centre of the shoe and then the top of the shoe to the back of the knee. At the knee, textbook, we'd have one straight line. Okay, now not many people achieve that, but the deviation here is quite significant. And as I say, this could lead to anything from stressing of the arch of the foot, problems with the ankles, the shins, the knees, the hips, and leading all the way up to the back of the neck. So what we're going to do now is bring out a shoe from Saucony, and we're going to play that back frame by frame and have a little look at the two together.
Okay, right, we're now going to test this in the shoe that earlier this year Liam and I found after about 3 weeks of testing various shoes from different brands. We found that the Saucony CS Pro Grid, which is the shoe I'm wearing today, was the perfect shoe for me. So basically I'm now going to obviously get on the treadmill now and run for a short while Liam's going to test us now to show the difference between wearing a neutral shoe and wearing now quite a rather supportive shoe because of the style of running I'm going to do. These shoes I've used for about 200 miles so far. Coming to the end of the shelf life of this shoe, I tend to change my shoes every 250 miles. An average shoe for the average person will last between 200 and 500 miles, depending on the type of running you're doing.
So what we've got now is we've got the two shoes, okay, and we're going to have a little look at both of these, just from a visual first of all. The ankle bone here is a lot better positioned with inside the shoe. The shoe bed sits a lot flatter and squarer and a lot more level behind the Achilles tendon, just stabilising the foot. As Mike toes off here, once again you can see on the neutral shoe we've got this large curvature, the heel's starting to lift with the foot rolling over towards the ball of the foot. Here we've maintained a nice level position behind the Achilles, and the shoe bed sits flat and the ankle bone is well positioned. So toeing off in a lot squarer position here. Okay, excellent. Okay, right, here we go. So I've just brought the two shoes up here just on the initial strike. Okay, just as we drop into mid-stance here. Okay, now on the neutral shoe, we've got this large curvature around the ankle. Okay, the heel was starting to lift and sloping down behind the Achilles. On here, we're a lot squarer behind the Achilles tendon, the shoe bed sits flatter, and the ankle bone sits nicely within inside the edge of the shoe bed. Just bring the two up here. Okay. Just a very simple thing. First of all, if we just take a line straight up from the edge of the shoe bed, you can see how your ankle is actually starting to lean past the edge of the shoe here. The fabric is being pushed out. Okay. We've also taken into consideration, okay, same again here, ankle bone is situated with inside this point and a little bit more clearance with inside the edge of the shoe. Taking into consideration Mike's coming in here quite fresh, and admittedly this shoe is at the end of its sort of shelf life now. It's actually on this right side, is holding him quite stable. Okay, just coming up through the centre part of the shoe here, okay, just up through the middle. Okay, just up through the centre here, we've got the foot just starting to roll in one way, and if we come from the top of the shoe to the back of the knee, okay, and this is just using this very much as a guideline, we have this sort of deviation here to the knee. Do the same again on this foot, okay, so just straight up through the centre point of the shoe here, and the top of the shoe to the back of the knee. Okay, deviation to the knee here is sort of significantly reduced. And just using this very much as a guideline, ideally through the centre part of the shoe, we're looking anywhere in the region of sort of 89 to 91 degrees. So holding a lot squarer position. Okay, as I say, Mike has a tendency to sort of overpronating on this left side. Okay, foot is starting to roll over, but we'd expect that. And this, once again, boils down to the importance of renewing your shoes at the correct time. Foot, you can see on Mike here, starting to just start to lean in here, and without doubt, he's at a point where we need to renew the shoe. By running the shoe for too long, it's then going to cause problems no different to a neutral shoe. Biomechanics will change, his foot will start to collapse in too much, and then that will lead to problems. So without doubt we're at a position now where the shoe needs to be renewed. But it is starting to hold him, and should be holding him squarer than the first neutral shoe. Okay.